Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy Starboy Mavi. It's been a while from done the video because I've been injured. So I have sprained my ankle, uh, which I don't know if it's sprained or anything, but they're gonna let me know sooner or later. It's apparently sprained. It's also apparently I popped it twice. Not too sure if it's sprained, broken, or anything, but there's liquid in there. So I wanted to do a tier list of Friday the 13th movies, ranking them from the best to worst. My opinion, this is my opinion. So if you don't like this, you can go rank them yourself. But again, this is my opinion. So I'm gonna let you guys know what my opinion is on this movie franchise. Um, so we're gonna start this off. This S being like the best, then we got the middle class, which is A, B, C being trash. D being the worst of the franchise. So we're gonna kick it off with my favorite movie, which is Part Three. I'm gonna add that into the S tier because I love the story derogative of this. I love how Jason comes in. The kills are amazing. The story for this whole Part Three was amazing. How he starts hunting them in the woods. Everything about that movie was amazing. It wasn't really terrible. It was one hell of a story. It left you off on what number two continued, and then you finally got number three, and we got three with a perfect installment of what the franchise was before they fuck up the franchise. I believe we're gonna do this. I'm gonna do one of the worst movies ever, and I think it's this one. People are gonna criticize this because it's Jason Goes to Hell. This is the final Friday. Jason Goes to Hell. I consider it one of the worst because it doesn't give you a story. Basically, what we found out is Jason Voorhees has a sister, and he had a sister and he had an aunt. Uh, no, he had a niece and an aunt. Sorry, niece and an aunt. Uh, oh, he had a sister and he had a niece. It doesn't make any sense because throughout the first movie and the second movie and the third movie, we really don't get introduced into those characters. I mean, if they introduced the characters in the first, second, third, we kind of would have been like, oh shit, yeah, he has family, you know. There was no mention of the family, nothing. And it was kind of just pointless. It was kind of ridiculous at that point because how are you gonna not mention the family if his mom was killing people? That's just kind of dumb. Goes to my point, the mom killing somebody. It's the first one. I put that on an A tier because the first one introduced you to Mrs. Voorhees, the original killer of the franchise of this Friday the 13th franchise, before Jason became a known notorious slasher, if you will. If you don't really know the basics of the Friday the 13th movie, you should go check out the first one. Mrs. Voorhees does all the murdering. It's a real gripping story on why she's doing the murdering because her son was because her son allegedly got drowned because they weren't paying attention and they were having sex, which also comes to the point that Jason kills anybody who's about to have sex. It is in his nature to murder people who are about to have sex because when he was a little boy, they didn't watch him. He drowned when they were having sex. So put that in mind. That number one will be in the A tier. Going down to one of the worst ones also would be Jason versus Freddy. I know a lot of people are going to say like Jason versus Freddy isn't that bad, but it's pretty bad because how are you going to tell me that Jason drowns in water, motherfucker comes popping out of the water every 5 seconds and he's not even afraid of the water? How are you going to tell me that Jason is afraid of the water and Freddy got the jump on him by telling him he was afraid of water when Jason's never been introduced to being afraid of the water? It is one of the I consider that one of the dumbest way they told it. Again, the guy who plays Freddy, amazing. Robert Englund, one amazing guy. But this movie had nothing but just stupid, corny one-liners, especially from the cast. The cast gave stupid, corny one-liners, and I really didn't enjoy that movie. Now to a B tier, and I know a lot of people are going to say this, and the B tier is Jason Takes Over Manhattan. Jason Takes Over Manhattan is a great story. It is slow paced because he's killing people on a boat, and you're just like, what the fuck is he doing? For the whole movie, he's killing people on the boat, and obviously, like most people won't be like, oh yeah, you know, I'm not gonna sit around and watch while he's murdering people on the boat for an hour. But he murdered people on the boat, went to Manhattan, started bashing people in Manhattan. I wish we would have got more kills from the people in Manhattan, and he would have started murdering people in Manhattan. But this movie's possible. You could rewatch it. It's a rewatchable movie. It's just fun. It's different. It's something you won't take as serious, but you would take serious because it's part of the franchise. But it is a really good movie. And now to one of the worst ones, I would go with Friday the 13th, the reboot. It tried to do what the original was trying to do, but instead of having Mrs. Voorhees be the killer, they had Jason be the killer instead of Mrs. Voorhees. There was no mention of Mrs. Voorhees in the movie. No mention of why he was doing it. There was no mention of anything. It was just Jason the killer. And here you go. A reboot nobody asked for. But we got it. Congratulations to everybody. Whoever asked for this reboot, nobody asked for it, but you guys got it. So I'm not going to speak too much on this abomination. And back to the A tier, I'm going to put Friday the 13th, Part 2. Count them, it's Part 2, not Part 3, it's Part 2. Part 2 really left off in a great way with it continuing from Part 1 of the campers. Again, this is all based on the camp of Crystal Lake. Once you start moving past that shit, it's when you know, hey, listen, this isn't what I wanted to do with this movie, but it is based on it. So this is all part of Camp Crystal Lake. From number 3 to number 1 to number 2, still Camp Crystal Lake. Still get why he's doing it, murdering people who staying at the camp and are taking over his campsite and resting ground. At a C tier, we're putting The Final Friday, which is Jason is dead. The Final Friday. Jason is dead is, again, one of the, I want to say it's one of the cleanest ways to start murdering a character. Especially, listen, if you wouldn't have gave me Jason Goes to Hell and you just gave me the Jason is Dead, The Final Friday, that would have been amazing. Like, you know, Jason is dead, boom, he's gonna be put to rest. All right, cool, we finally got that. But no, you gave me a continuation of something that I did not expect. But it's not terrible and it's not horrible. It's not. It's in the qualities in there, but it's not as terrible. Jason X. We're going to go D. Jason X is not terrible. That's why I'm putting it in D. I want to say, you know what? We're going to move it to a C tier because it's not terrible. Jason X isn't terrible, but Jason X is a movie that you don't take serious because the Predator franchise and the Alien franchise were kicking off this space adventure shit. So what better way to capitalize than have Jason on board of a ship in space and start murdering people? It's not a movie you take serious, but it is a hell of an enjoyment to watch. And that's where we kick off with that one. I want to say this one, is it The New Beginning? I'm not too sure. Yeah, it's The New Beginning. I don't know why, but I actually enjoyed The New Beginning because we got introduced to Tommy. There was a lot of gruesome killings. I don't know, something about The New Beginning was really good, really revamped the story. We got Tommy, we had finished with Tommy. Here's what Tommy left off. We obviously didn't know if he died or anything. Hopefully we got the conclusion of it, but we didn't. So Tommy, this is where the franchise kicked off at its best part, was when we introduced that little boy and the little boy started murdering Jason. Now, I'm going to go with this one. This one's going to go here. Now, this one's the one where we got a girl who is a psychic, and she can apparently tell the future. She can move telekinesis or powers and shit. The ending to this movie is one of the most dog shit movies in the world, because how are you going to have her dead father raise up out of the ground, come out of the water, and just stab Jason and pull him back into the river? That is the most stupidest way to end that movie. There was no plot. There was a plot, but it was so dim that you can either skip it or not watch it. I would say skip it altogether. There's nothing to do that movie. And then this one right here, Jason needs to be put to rest. Again, Tommy came in again, but they really switched the character of Tommy. This is like the second time they switched the character of Tommy. But I just want to talk about how they switched him, gave us a new person, and then we finally got the installment of what Tommy's gonna do. He wants to put Jason to rest, but the cops don't believe him that Jason is killing people again. And we finally got how he's gonna put Jason to rest, chaining him up into the river and having him drown to death. Also, he didn't really drown to death. The chick kind of pulled the cord on the speedboat and killed him. But there's no like, it was just it was really, it was okay. It was an okay ending. That so these are my rankings. If you guys have any questions about your guys' rankings, please leave them down in the comments down below. But this is my ranking. We ranked it. Let me rephrase it. Friday the 13th Part 3, Friday the 13th New Blood, New Beginning. Then we got in the A tier we got Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 2, B tier, which is like the middle class. These are like the middle classes. You got New York. Then you got in the C tier, you got the Final Friday, Jason X. I told you it's not terrible. Jason X not terrible. Jason X. Then the one where he's gonna be put to rest. And then you got the dog shit ones. Jason Goes to Hell, Jason versus Freddy, Jason Friday the 13th, the reboot, and you got the one with the girl with the telekinesis powers. Which is my tier list, nobody's tier list, but my own. I will be doing more tier list videos. I know I'm doing the Scream franchise. I will be doing the Nightmare on Elm Street tier list soon. I will be doing the Halloween tier list, and I will be doing the Leprechaun tier list. Let me know what other tier list you guys want me to do, and leave it all in the comments down below. And be out of here. Peace.